Welcome to Below the Line, where we talk about working in Hollywood from the crew perspective. My name is Skid. I'm a former assistant director and your host.
Quiet on the set.
Today, we're talking about the Property Masters Guild, and my guests, among their other credits, are the hosts of the Guild's in-house podcast, Prop Talk. First, returning to the show is Mike Trudel. Mikey, you're the co-host of Prop Talk. You also host another industry podcast, Failing Hollywood, and you serve as secretary on the Property Masters Guild Board of Directors. Of course, you're also a property master yourself. Great to see you again.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. And like I said, glad to have you back. It's been a while. I'm also glad you brought along your co-host. Making his Below the Line debut is Chris Call. Chris, you're the co-host of Prop Talk. You're a founding board member of the Property Masters Guild, and you've been a property master for more than 35 years, so you know what you're talking about. Great to have you on the show.
Yeah, thanks. Great to be here, too. Good to meet you.
Likewise. Well, this will be fun. A warning for listeners, nothing to spoil today. If you're looking for spoilers, do come back next week. We're going to dive right in. Guys, tell me about the Property Masters Guild and how this came together.
All right. Well, I guess I'll jump in on that.
Since you were there, Chris, please.
Well, but, and it preceded me because there were a couple of aberrations that had tried to come into fruition over the years, as far back as the 70s, I believe it was. I know Dennis Parrish, who's a great longtime property master. He attempted to do it, and some other people have attempted a couple other times, and for whatever reasons, personalities, and just and the thing is that for property masters in general, there used to be a lot more competition amongst us, so property masters coming together. Sometimes, we have a tendency to have, big personalities, and, we like to control things, as the masters, as we are.
Yeah.
So I think that a lot of those personalities clashed back then. And I know there was a lot of infighting that happened. And again, having done this, there is a lot of hills to climb whenever you're trying to put something like this together with a lot of really big personalities. And so it was something that just never came to be. But it was a conversation that never stopped. We property masters have been talking about organizing for years and decades. The set decorators did it, and many of the other crafts have done it. And so basically what happened was Greg Bilson, who everybody in the industry knows, has the biggest prop house in the world. People hold court in his office all the time. And people go in, and he's got a big conference room in there, or conference table. And so myself and Hope Parrish, who's Dennis Parrish's daughter, who's been, trying to get something off the ground for years, she was talking to Greg about this. And then Josh Meltzer, another longtime property master, was also very much involved in trying to get something going, and was having ongoing conversations with Greg as well, and then myself, independently of each other. And so Greg finally drew the line between all of us and said, hey, listen, you guys are all into doing this and want to get this off the ground, so why don't we just get all of us together around the table and talk about it. So that's what happened. The four of us got together in his conference room in his office and started hashing out, what we wanted to do, what our goals were going to be. And then from there, we put together a steering committee of like 13 people, a lot of people who are still involved. And then we just started mushing through it. And I could say that the number one reason that it came to be is because of COVID, because we were all down, we were all out of work, and we had nothing else to do. And you can't have property masters with nothing to do.
Yeah. You build a whole organization.
That's it. So, we just started hashing it all out, and it was a lot of heavy lifting for sure.
So when did this start then? So you said during COVID, so everybody was down. What year time frame are we talking about?
It was 2020.
2021, I think, is when it, like
January
pretty much of 2021 is when it really officially started, as far as my record show anyway. I joined a little bit later than that. But
yeah. And Mikey, you are the secretary, so you should be able to check that stuff and have some responsibility for keeping track, right?
and I'm the chair of the membership committee, so membership relations is me also.
Yeah, Michael wears a lot of hats. So
clarify for me, or for listeners who might not understand, you've set up this guild, but this is not your labor representation. You guys are still members of IATSE, and your contracts are negotiated through that. It's not a guild like the DGA.
Sure.
It's something in parallel. Explain more to me how that's set up.
Yeah, well, I mean, essentially, we made it very clear right from the beginning that we had no intentions of or desire to take the place of the union. And we also wanted to represent people who are not necessarily in the union as well. And we met with the local 44 before we kicked anything off officially and sat down with Toby and had a conversation about, this is what we want to do. This is what our intentions are. We are not a threat to the union in any way. We don't want to negotiate contracts or anything like that. We just want to, have a collection of people to talk about like-minded things and work with the union.
Yeah. And they gave us their full support too. I mean, enough so to where actually the episode that we just dropped this week, we have Toby Bays, the head of Local 44, with us just to talk about how like negotiations and how much he supports like us organizing. Yeah. We're just an organization that is trying to look out for the best interest. And the stuff that we do within the guild is stuff that Local 44 it's low on their priority list, because Local 44 is not just like, they don't have to look out for the best interest in just prop masters. They have to look out for set decorators and set construction and prop makers and set dressers. So there's a lot of different crafts in Local 44. So within us doing this on a national level, we're solely focused on uplifting the craft of property masters and sharing information on a global scale, so we can all kind of elevate our craft and get what our goals are, whether it be IMDb or better pay scale or better kit rentals, work all together to succeed at these specific goals that 44 probably won't help us as much in,
Right. But they're also very open to us taking on a lot of those things that they can't do because they have too bogged down in negotiations and contracts and all of that. So these kinds of things are things that we can assist them with. And so they were very open to that as a possibility.
Yeah.
And again, for us, we started locally, but we started expanding very quickly. It started off, with just LA people, but then we wanted to represent all of the states, and now we're global.
Yeah, we have UK and European members now also.
Yeah. One of the other really significant points that motivated us forward was Josh Meltzer started the Facebook page of the Union Property Masters Facebook page, and that brought people together in a way that nobody had ever seen before, for all of us to be able to commiserate about things and to share information that we've never done before. So that was also a really good impetus for the Property Masters Guild to keep moving forward.
Tell me more about these benefits or what you guys have seen, whether it's specific activities or sharing of information. What else have people gained by being affiliated with the group?
The list is starting to get pretty endless. That's why, yeah, it's pretty. So when members grow, like we have our own Facebook group that we stay pretty well connected, for associates or actual members. So we have the access to that, but also within our website now, we have a membership portal that we share rates with each other. So when we actually work out a deal, we share that. Everybody knows that producers, it's like the number one thing is like, oh, don't share your rates. That's starting to go out the window now, because we're realizing that to get what we need and to like help, we gotta share each other. That shouldn't be a taboo topic anymore. It's like in the prop world, like when you're making your kit rentals, there's been a lot of stuff like studios will say, oh, I'm sorry, it's a studio policy. This is all that they can offer you. Where in almost all cases, that's not true. And there's other shows that have done that. So you can almost use that as a tool to be able to get the rate you deserve on this, and they can't use stuff like that against you. So we have stuff like rate sharing. We have different stuff moving forward, like we're saying with IMDb. Like for so long, we've been stuck under the art department guideline, the drop down in a sea of just many people. Like it's the biggest art department is on IMDb is the biggest department in all of the film industry on any show. So if you want to find, hey, who prop mastered this, you have to scroll page after page after page sometimes. So our incentives in this, we're working on getting property masters their own line, which we're getting really close and we're almost there. We're also starting stuff, and I know we'll probably be talking about a little bit more, but like an award show that specifically is for the craft of props and and very similar to the Art Directors Guild Awards and stuff like that. But on top of all that, we also have group meetups and events that we do regularly, like our new annual Liftgate Tailgate, which again we did during the strikes for the first time because nobody was working and there were so many trailers at ISS, and we're like, let's just have a barbecue. Over 600 people showed up, and it was just the largest prop master meetup there ever has been. So just these mixers and groups and us connecting, like within the member portal too on the website, you have stuff like that. You have a black book of resources which we're pulling from everywhere, and also it takes all the regions from all over the world. So where if you go out and you work a show, let's say we get a show in Vancouver or we get a show in Atlanta, and we go there, we have a resource now that will give us the people to call to have the best labor that you can get in the area, where before you just you were at the mercy of whatever the crews locals or the producers had for local talent there, or even just going to the union hall and being like, which everybody knows here, it's like it's such a gamble when you go and say, okay, let's see what the hall call list is, and let's just get whoever we have. At least this way you can you have real contacts you can call and you say, I need some good people, give me some good hands, and then through our membership community you'll get that. So that's just there's many more. Those are the ones that are coming to head right now.
And one of the big things also is just the fact that property masters, because we're departments of our own, normally before the Property Masters Guild, we didn't have any way of getting together. And I can speak for myself that I would go to ISS a lot of times, the prop house or any of the prop houses, and you would see property masters there occasionally, but you didn't know any of them. You're always the property master on a show.
Right.
So you don't get to meet and commiserate with all the other property masters. And the PMG helps that. Okay, because we have these tailgate parties and these meetups, and you get to meet property masters that you've heard of for years. And then all of a sudden you're with them and you're sharing a beer with them and you're having a good time and you're sharing information, which is really critical too. And the other big thing that the guild is doing, one of our core principles, was about education.
Definitely.
Okay, because again, in 2022 we had this massive influx of people in the industry because we had all of this new media work, and the streamers created all this content, and there were people everywhere, and they were giving jobs to anybody with a pulse, basically. We want to do props, okay, you do props. And we started thinking, well, there's nobody training these people. Okay, and we have to take that mantle on of being able to train the next generation of property masters, because as Josh would say too, we were on the edge of losing something on the order of like 500 property masters or something like that. It was through retirement. A lot of us are aging out now. I'm one of them. So there's these new group of property masters coming in that, again, there's no school for property master. Okay, it was always been a journeyman kind of situation where you learn on the job, as an assistant and come up. That was a big one of our principles that we really felt strong about, and we're starting to do that now. We're offering classes to people, which are really great, and then we also have a women's group, property master women. What's the name of that thing?
Yeah, it's I forget what the exact name is because we're not as heavily involved in that one for obvious reasons.
Right.
But yeah, there's a women's group that meet up every single month via Zoom, and then it's like an outlet for them. And we're also in the same vein. It's about to start is a resource for retirees and mental health, where we're actually having monthly meetups where we have a therapist via Zoom come in and literally meet with retirees and people in the industry that are dealing with mental health, especially what we've been going through lately. They can sit in and all share these things that a lot of people all experience, and especially when you go into retirement, because you go from a go to absolute stop.
Right.
And like he was saying, I mean, when prop masters stop doing things, like they build organizations.
That's right, or they redo their backyard.
Yeah, exactly. So those are some of the bigger things that we have going on. right now.
Well, and also, we should also mention that all of our regionals are also starting to take off with these as well, having group meetups as well. In smaller markets like in Toronto and Vancouver.
Oh yeah,
You
they
know,
do. Vancouver does fan expos. Like we do LA Comic Con, and we have a booth and panels and stuff
yeah,
here in LA.
that's Mikey's baby, and he
Yeah, it is.
killed it last year. We had so many. What was it, like 10,000 people came through?
Oh yeah, so many. And this year's gonna be even better. We're gonna have
Yeah,
Back
that's
to the
coming
Future
up, right?
prop.
What are the dates on LA Comic Con? It's soon, right? Next month, 2 months?
Yeah, it's gonna be October,
Ah.
the first weekend of October at the LA Convention Center. So if anybody's out here, yeah, come say hey to us. We're gonna be
Yes.
showing real props from
Right.
yeah,
And that's what people
things.
love about props.
Yeah.
People love props. They don't even know it. Okay. Because that's what everybody wants. That's what everybody keys in on a movie is the props. And so LA Comic Con for us has been great because Mikey, hosted this thing and we had all these props. People come in by flocks to be able to touch it and hold these things.
Oh, totally.
It's going to be
Yeah,
it's
and
amazing.
I mean, and they do it in Vancouver now too. Vancouver Fan Expo, so people in Vancouver could do the exact same thing. We send some stuff up for them to display,
Yep.
and they do the stuff too. So it's really close knit community, and I think that's the biggest thing about it. Even just like I just was working on a show, and we have Andy Siegel, who's giant, enormous prop master. I've become good buddies with him, and just through the PMG, pretty much just walking through stressed halls of ISS, and he's like, "What's up, buddy?" He's like, "Oh, it's just this thing." He's like, "Here's what you do this, and this. Call them, say this is how much money I have. Do it by Friday." He's like, "I bet you anything they'll do it." They did. So
Wow.
it's like getting that encouragement, you know what I
Yes.
mean? Especially as a young prop master, it's like, man, the PMG has done so much for me since I joined, and I'm hoping I want other people to get that. Like, if you want to make it in this career, this I think is a huge resource. So,
Tell me more about the membership requirements. Is it strictly property masters? How do you determine that someone is eligible to join the guild?
well, you can find if you go to propertymastersguild.org, you'll be able to go to the membership sign up page and find the list of specific requirements. But basically, our requirements to joining as a prop master, you need to have your oldest property master credit has to be 5 years or more. So you've had to have been prop mastering pretty actively for the 5 years or more. So you have to have some sort of decent experience. You have to have at least one of the following. You have to have 6 features under your belt, complete features as the primary prop master. 25 television episodes throughout 3 or more different series, or 10 different commercials worked where you have to actually submit the call sheets and the commercial links and stuff like that, or your whole body of work will be considered if it's a bunch of bits and pieces of those that will come up. So you have to be a decent experienced prop master to be able to join. But for those that are still trying and working their way up, we also have an associate level membership, and that's also open to vendors, like vendors meaning salespeople, not the vendors themselves. If you want to sponsor us, you can, but like salespersons at prop houses, food stylists, armorers, assistant prop masters. So the associates, you don't have as many benefits as associate, but it gives you a profile on our website, and it gives you access to kind of like and emails to all the events and to help out in a direct line to us. So that one's a little bit more of a discounted rate, and you only need 1 year experience in the property field working direct relation to the prop masters.
Mikey, something you mentioned earlier, and yes, I did intend to get back to it, and that is that this year you guys are sponsoring for the first time the MacGuffin Awards. Now, as listeners of this show know, prop mastering is not recognized as the Oscars, although we do here at Below the Line make an effort to try and draw attention to it. But you guys have taken the ball in your own hands and are doing your own award show. Tell me more about the MacGuffin Awards.
The Property Masters Guild have pretty much built this award show from the ground up. We started, just with our amazing events and awards committee putting together, like spending countless hours, literally. Like, we went through pretty much the ADG, the SDSA awards, like nomination lists and the Academy lists and everything that was even close to considered, and went through every single project within the past year to try to encourage people to submit. So we were worried about we would even get enough submissions to go. They came out with flying colors, which was great. We had 145 submissions and up to 13 different categories. the submissions was large. We had a lot to pick from, and they also submitted membership packets that were absolutely insanely detailed. And we were talking about it on an episode, a prop talk not too long ago. It was like it was kind of overwhelming to sit down because in your mind you're like, okay, let's review these packets and vote.
Right.
For nominations. And we sat down and we opened like a few. It's like, oh, this will take a half hour. No, and it took like over 6 hours for most people, because once you start reading, you're like, whoa, like
Right.
this is like they did some serious stuff.
Sure. And it's also, this award isn't just for features. It's features, it's television,
Right.
it's commercials, it's videos, it's a lot of content.
Yeah.
You talked about 13 categories. So we're not just looking for one award for property mastering. It's more of an Emmys approach, I'd say, right? Where things are divided by different categories or linked. Talk to me more about the categories that are available and that you're trying to recognize.
Okay, yeah. So I'm definitely gonna miss some, but
Yeah.
Maybe that's not a good setup. I'm just trying to get a sense of like fantasy not competing with period or whatever, just kind of that larger.
Totally. And for prop masters, I mean, those are some of the biggest categories. You have your fantasy, you have your period ones. So those ones are the ones that need to be on the surface, because those are like, that's like our best picture right there. The best fantasy feature is basically what's going to be in place for best picture, because that's the one where almost everything in the whole show is manufactured and is created from the ground up, and they have the biggest prop crews, and you can actually put most into it. So those are some of the biggest one, in which we have the categories for feature films and for television, and they go through, and those are probably some of the categories with the most submissions also. But we also have, I mean, in both of those sections, we have contemporary for each one, and it goes all the way down to like miniseries, and I think music video and commercial and short format is all in the same category as well.
So you guys got all the packages. You just announced your nominations last week. What's voting going to look like?
Voting is it's going to take a few weeks, and I mean, I really don't know what it's going to look like. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, it really is.
And that's, I mean, we were saying about like, what's the good thing about being a PMG member? I mean, that's a huge member benefit right now
100%.
that we have this, is being able, and we've had a lot of people just sign up solely so they can be able to vote on this. Because I think that's a huge benefit, is being able to vote on your peers.
Right.
You know, so
yeah, it's been a long time coming for property masters, you know, because again, for years and years and years, through the Emmys and through the Academy, watching our peers go up on stage and accept awards for things that we were intricately involved in. And you know, so for us, it's going to be a great night for everybody.
Oh, totally.
You know, and not just for us, but for all the property masters before us.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
and we have like a lot of the stuff, the other, like we have a lifetime achievement award, which do we already announce?
We did.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Which is going to be received by Emily Ferry, who is, I mean, I don't think there's any better deserving person than Emily Ferry.
First female property master in the business.
Yeah. And she's been a representative at Local 44 for property masters for over 40 years.
Yeah,
so like
a powerhouse.
Yeah. So the amount that she's paved for all property masters is just absolutely insane. There's also going to be a humanitarian award, which that's still being worked out. But I mean, so there's a lot of like little blasts of other things you're going to get too. I mean, I'm biased, obviously. It's going to be one of the most fun award show that you could possibly go to. I mean, look at the ADG awards, for example. We had a table there. We were probably the most rowdy table.
100%.
Like, we have fun.
That's right. Property master plus alcohol. It should be good.
Yeah. That's what I say. Our difference is too. I think the open bar stays open from the cocktail party to the actual show to the after party.
Yeah.
So that's crazy.
It's going to be a night.
No, and then even going into, it's like you have the cocktail party, you have your award show. Then afterwards, we're having an after party in the Belasco Theater, the same building where we're having DJs play who are property masters. So everything is just within our own crafts.
We're going to pull out a bunch of coolers with beer in it, like old school.
Now, and when is the ceremony taking place? When you guys got that scheduled?
September 14th. It's going to be a really good time. Yeah, at the Belasco Theater in it's downtown Los Angeles.
Right.
Yep.
A beautiful theater, I might add.
Gorgeous. Yeah, historic theater. Yeah,
beautiful. It's going to be a really great event.
And as I understand it, anybody can attend, right? You don't have to be a member of the guild to attend the ceremony, or is that incorrect?
Yeah, so guild members do get a discounted ticket, so that's another benefit. But anybody can buy tickets. You can go over if you want to know more about the show at all. Like, it's a very good website and very detailed one. You can go to MacGuffinAwards.com, or if you search PMGAwards.com, it will also come up, and then you can see everything. You can see our trophy design of what that looks like, which that's another thing we worked from the ground up, and it's very beautiful, and it's definitely feels prestigious and everything. But you can see all the categories that we're dealing with, and I mean, you'll be able to see the nominees and all that stuff too. So if you want to play at home with your own little cheat sheets, you can do that as well, you know. So yeah, go over to MacGuffinAwards.com or PMGAwards.com, and you'll be able to read a lot more about it.
Yeah, I learned a lot going through the website, both there and for the guild. One story that struck me, and maybe share with our listeners, the inspiration for the name of your award.
Okay, so the MacGuffin is like, I mean, it's kind of a historic term. It's like the MacGuffin is, and I know Teresa's gonna like get on me for butchering.
Well, there's two different versions. The definition of MacGuffin.
Yeah, it's basically a prop that drives the story forward, almost making it kind of in a way its own character in the film. It's like the Maltese Falcon is like a great example. Is like that's the MacGuffin of that movie, and like you could kind of go through, and almost every movie has that main MacGuffin. So having this award be the MacGuffin is in the property world what that is. You know what I mean? It's like receiving this for this night. That's the MacGuffin of the night, and that's kind of how the name came to light. And it has such historic relevance around the property world and prop masters as well.
Alfred Hitchcock.
Right. All the way back to Alfred Hitchcock. Exactly. Correct. Like it's even in the dictionary.
Yeah. It is the object that drives the story.
Right.
So, and props are objects. So it's perfect.
Yeah, exactly. I think I did that okay. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you guys are going to for that.
Yeah.
Before we go, guys, tell me also about Prop Talk, the podcast. If people aren't following that already, what would get them to hop on board?
Well, again, for me, it was one of the things that I wanted to do straight away, because for us to be able to reach out to everybody, again, not just LA centric, but to be able to reach out to all the property masters everywhere, I thought it would be a great way for us to connect with each other and have discussions about, the craft, and not just the craft, but about how the craft interacts with all the other departments as well. We've had
set decorators
on, and
food
we've
stylists,
had production designers, and we had actress.
We have Virginia Madsen. Yeah, we've had armorers also.
Yeah, we have. Yeah. Well, one of our first ones was the impetus for the Prop Talk was we wanted to talk about the rust situation. So we had in a couple seasoned property masters and an armorer, a first class armorer from ISS. Larry Zanoff came in, and we discussed the whole rust incident, and that was great, and everybody loved it. And so it's a way for us to just talk about the craft in a very open, global kind of way. And so we've been very excited about it, and we have no lack of possible guests to come on. I mean, there's just so many things to talk about and so many people to talk to.
No, yeah, and everybody's been very positive about coming. Most people have been very positive about coming on, and it's like you said. I don't think it's ever gonna stop being able to have guests to go on to, because there's a lot of topical subjects we could talk about, but then also there's always something awesome that's new that's coming out. It's like like when Fallout came out, I was like, we got to get those guys on immediately.
Exactly. I said the same thing. Those guys were great, right?
That's what we do.
I was like, it's such a magical prop show. I was like, we need to bring these guys in immediately and talk to them about it. So like and that's the same. It's like I don't want to give away too much of what's coming up. We haven't actually shot yet, but yeah,
there's things to look forward to though. We have a bunch of stuff coming up that's going to be really exciting. We are going to do a postmortem on Rust, which is going to be great. We're looking forward to getting Drew Petrata and his dad in the room together to talk about generational property masters too. We have Barry Wilkinson in from the UK.
Oh yeah,
which was fantastic because he has like 5 grandsons that are property masters now.
Yeah, he did Titanic and all the Harry Potter films and stuff like that.
Fantastic.
So, yeah.
So yeah, so that's all great. And again, you could basically find us on YouTube. I mean, Mike will give you all the details on it, and anywhere you get a podcast.
Well, it's exciting to see not only all this energy coming together for your own benefit as far as the networking and the connections within, but your collaboration is also leading to all this new information that fans of film and, as you mentioned, fans of props specifically are reaping the benefits of this organization as well. I'm super excited to see this get off the ground and what you guys have planned for the future.
Yeah, us too.
Yeah, no, it's been on a really good trajectory, especially this past year.
Right.
Like if anything good came out of the strikes is a lot of us having a lot of time just to put into the legwork of this guild, because I don't think I mean we probably crammed 5 years worth of advancements in just this 1 year. And it's starting. It's not quite on autopilot yet, but I think it's starting to move more into us figuring stuff out. And I mean, our growth we've doubled this past year as far as membership goes. And I mean, it's we used to get maybe 1 or 2 submissions a month, and now we're averaging 10 submissions a month. So it's insane the amount that people have turn to like us. People who are questionable in the beginning are now coming around and seeing. It's like we want to welcome everybody that's qualified, and that's the thing. We want
and interested.
Yeah, exactly.
And again, as a founding member, I can say that I never imagined this organization being where it's at this soon. I mean, and again, if it wasn't for COVID and if it wasn't for these strikes, we wouldn't have had this exponential growth that we've had. But I could also tell you that, again, myself, Hope Parrish, and Greg Bilson and Josh Meltzer, we're all old. Okay. And one of the reasons we wanted to do this was to set the table for the new generation. And I can't tell you how exciting it's been that the new generation, like Mikey and Teresa and Marissa and Anna Losby and so many people, so many young people who have come up and have grabbed this by the reins and then are just taking us to heights that we never would have imagined. And it's their youthful exuberance that's really driving the force. It's amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, we mentioned your websites earlier, but let's summarize it here at the end for anyone that is looking to get more information. Where should they go?
We're on propertymastersguild.org. So if you just type in propertymastersguild.org, you'll be able to find information of everything we got going on. You'll be able to see the schedule, the event schedule. We have events all the time, not only just for our members, but for everybody. So if you want to like come and meet us, all the info on LA Comic Con will be on there too. And if you just want to see stuff that's coming up, or if you just want to know more about us and you're interested in joining, go over to propertymastersguild.org. You'll be able to find them. You can find us on all the socials too. Just at Instagram is one of our biggest ones, @_ the PMG, and just search all the other socials, Property Masters Guild. The award stuff, as I said before, that one you can go to MacGuffinawards.com or PMGawards.com, and that will let you know all the information on the award show that will be happening September 14th at the Belasco Theater in downtown Los Angeles.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, anybody can go to that. I mean, that's be an exciting opportunity for folks to rub elbows with you guys there. Sounds like fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it would be well worth it.
Come on out, Skid.
Don't think I'm not looking at the calendar.
He only comes out when it's Dodgers season. He didn't tell you that.
Hey, September 14th. That's right. Let me see if the Dodgers are in town and who they're playing. We'll try.
Are you still a Dodgers fan?
Oh
yeah,
through and through. Yeah, I'm a big Dodgers fan.
That's good to hear.
Take that with me, guys. On that note, we're gonna call it a wrap. It was great having you guys here.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, thanks, brother.
Listeners, I always appreciate your feedback. You'll find my contact info on our website, belowtheline.biz. That's B-I-Z. You'll also find past episodes and links to all of our social media, so check it out. Closing credits, thanks to Curtis Five for our music, John Wan for our logo, and to all of our listeners, I appreciate you. The Below the Line logo is available on t-shirts, mugs, and stickers at redbubble.com. Please rate us wherever you get your podcasts and tell your friends. That really is a big help when you do. Thanks again from Below the Line.